Okay, what's up? This is Jerseys to Crowds. It's a new movement, so look out for some content coming soon.
Yeah, I'm in my own lane. 4-3 reppin', yeah, my gon' bang. It's talking, but they ain't speaking on my name. I'ma make this money, I'm about to free the gang, yeah. On my 0 on the back, these call me Stephen Curry. Gotta make this money, gotta make it in a hurry. Do it for the gang so my don't have to worry, yeah.
All right, welcome to this episode. Today we got MT. Manyang Tong is been around the program, and we've been around Manyang since I've known you since you were in grade 9.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know if you've known me
No.
until you were in grade 10.
10, yeah, grade 10.
Yeah.
I think I've known you since grade 7. When did you play on that CBA team?
Grade 8.
Grade eight.
7, I played CY grade 7.
Okay, so I've known Manyang since grade 7.
Yeah.
Since he was like, you guys beat me and Luke Baker's team in the Gen Classic. And
Luke Baker.
Our coach,
Man, you must haunt Luke Baker's dreams, guy.
Luke Baker, it gets so funny, he doesn't even care about that play anymore. Like, he's seen it so many
No, but you're talking about beating him in junior high.
oh my gosh, no, but that that team,
man,
like,
he must wake up and
No. Okay, I gotta shout out Luke Baker. I love Luke Baker.
No,
But
yeah, Luke's a killer.
that team that we had was like not like that wasn't the team, to be honest. Like me and Luke were just crying. Like that was my first year playing, and like yeah, we figured it out after that, you know. but that was a wake up call, especially because our coach quit that year. We lost to them, and he was like, "It's my birthday. You lost on my birthday. I'm not coming back."
Which Josh? Minhas?
Yeah.
Woo! All right. Okay. Another UFC alum. Did you know that? Did you know that he played at UFC?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't he play at Crescent as well?
Yeah, I know he played.
Pearson.
Pearson. Yeah.
He was like the golden child in junior high.
I heard that, yeah.
He was
That's what
like
he said, yeah.
filthy.
Yeah. He said he was like, I was cold. Like I was good.
Yeah. And then grade 10, 11, 12. Like it, he just the upward trajectory just didn't keep going. But yeah, he was really good. Let's give us an intro. Who are you?
Where are you playing?
Right now, I currently play at the University of Calgary. Raised in Calgary. Born in Kenya, Nairobi. Came when I was 6 months old, so I don't really know anything back home. But yeah,
Did you ever go visit back home?
no,
Have you ever been to Africa?
no.
Do you wanna go?
Yeah, I really do actually.
And if you went to Africa, where would you go? Like, where would you be like, oh, I want to go there?
Especially back home where my parents are from South Sudan. I think that's the number one place, and then probably like because my dad goes back to Africa almost every year. Like he'll go to like Egypt, like all these different places. I'd want to go there with him too.
But like your two older brothers,
Yeah,
they grew up, like they lived in Africa longer.
yeah, they did. So yeah, like so actually my oldest brother was with me. So when we came from Africa to Canada, my oldest brother came with me. My dad could only bring 4 people, I think it was, including him, and there's 5 of us. So it was me. It was me, Lowell, Tom, my mom, my dad. But they could only bring 4 of us, and because I was the youngest, they had to bring me, and then Tom was the oldest and he could take care of me, so they brought him too. So then they had to leave Lowell. They had to leave Lowell in Africa with I believe it was my uncle in Kenya, up until like, I'd say the 4th. No, I was in the 2nd grade.
So he stayed there for like a good 5 years.
Lowell's a year older than me, or 2 years older than me. Is he 8 this year?
He's a year older than you. He's a year after.
So, okay.
Aiden,
Yeah.
I didn't even know he existed until I was probably
It's crazy.
in the 1st grade or 2nd grade when my parents
That
were like,
is
he's
crazy.
coming out. Yeah.
And he's the tallest in your family.
As of right now.
As of right
As
now.
of right now.
Because Yar's gonna like.
Yeah, I think John's still growing.
Lowell used to just pin people standing, especially at Lacombe with like the lower backboard. He'd just be like, doof.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not fair.
He's a demon.
He was feared. He was feared in Calgary for sure.
Well, and that was like the time when Lacombe had like the ruthless 1-3-1.
Oh,
Slap
yeah,
the
good-
floor
yeah,
one through
oh.
yeah.
Because it had Carlos,
Carlos, yeah,
In the
back-
Warrior?
yeah, going back and forth baseline.
and then you
baseline.
had Wall in the middle, and then you had
Omot.
Omot.
No, Tim was the year before.
okay.
But yeah, Omot like at the point.
There was Lual Atem. He was there too.
Luolatum?
Yeah.
I think he was. No, I think he's a lot older. I think
Is he?
He played with my oldest brother, Tom. It was. I think Tim played with Luol.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
like to think back on like the Lacombe, like the players that have come through
The
Lacombe.
talent. Yeah,
the
yeah.
talent, like
Yeah.
the just like the raw talent.
It's actually insane.
People don't realize how.
No, and then, like as someone from the inside of Lacombe, like we hear it all the time, where it's like some coach will be like, "Oh, if someone just went in and taught them discipline, they would do so much better," and it's like they have no idea.
They.
Like it's
Like people have no idea what happens at Lacombe.
yeah.
Like, there's so many things like you can't even really speak of. Like the stuff you see happening there. It's like people don't realize like it's very.
Well, it's
like,
small.
Yeah.
Like it's the smallest high school in Calgary.
Yeah.
Really?
There's only 800 students.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
There was more than that in my graduation that year.
Yeah, there's only like 800 students, and there's a lot of very committed admin and coaches and teachers. Like, there's a lot of kids, like, there's a lot of kids that have been lost to the streets and lost to the stuff, but there's also a lot of kids that have been, like, helped, man.
And people don't realize like at Lacombe too. It's like people think it's how do you explain it? Like guys don't ask for help. That's the biggest thing. Everyone kind of tries to like do it on their own, and I think that's the biggest like misconception. Like people kind of like fall off because they're like, and then like later on they're like, oh yeah, well I didn't get any help. But since like
I should have listened to Cooch.
that,
You hear that all the time. Every year that I coach at Lacombe, I say, do not be the guy that says I should have listened to Coach.
Yeah.
Because every year, every graduating class, there's guys that come back and say, oh, I should have listened. And then they're trying to help out the next team.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing too. Like at Lacombe, it has a lot of alumni, like high school alumni, and like I don't think a lot of like high schools could say that.
No.
Like there's
But the problem with the reason why there's a lot of alumni is because, like, for whatever reason, fell short. Right? There's so much talent that, like, was kind of missing one thing, or didn't ask for help, or got caught up, or got killed, end up in jail, right? Got a girl pregnant, like all this stuff, but Cooch, like literally by himself, took that program from D3 to D1, and went to city championships, and instilled, like when people say, oh, they just had some discipline, like
so you don't know where they came from.
like Cooch is a drill sergeant.
Yeah, he's like from grade 10 to grade 12. I think that school kind of changed me in that sense of like just being a dog. Like in junior high, I was kind of like just good town. Like I had like all the athleticism, but like he actually initially taught me how important like defense was. Like I think I was just athletic and I could like get steals or off ball and stuff.
Yeah.
Like he completely switched my mindset. I think like just being a dog and being relentless.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then there's like like there's this idea that like, oh, Lacombe kids don't go to class and they get bad grades. Like Jeshuan is all Canadian.
All academic. Yeah.
All academic, all Canadian. Like there's, Lual is a social worker now. How many guys have gone through and are like doing really good things? And those guys are just not seen.
Like Martin too.
Martin, he's doing architecture.
Yeah.
And then there's there's all kinds of guys. There's all kinds of guys that are doing like really good things. And there's just this negative cloud around the school where it's like, really, I think Lacombe is one of the safest high schools in the city to go to.
Yeah, they're like.
Was there ever really fist fights?
No. Honestly, like, I think the worst you'd see is like guys that gang diss and like rap battles.
What, really?
Yeah, like
There's never fights.
yeah,
Coming from
nobody
like the
actually
south
fought.
side, there is like that like kind of narrative that's like, yeah, like Forest Lawn, Lacombe, like there's scraps all the time.
Never.
Maybe back like years ago, but
No.
from the years like when I see my older brothers and like when I'm there and like see my younger brothers, like
The community is like rough, impoverished. Like it's a hard place to grow up. But Lacombe itself is like it's like a safe haven. Like there's every year at Thanksgiving, Christmas, spring break, you can see the student body get nervous because they're like, well, once school's out, like what am I gonna do? Like this is a safe place for me.
Yeah.
Right? Like you witnessed that personally.
yeah, I did. Like, yeah, during the summer, like any breaks, yeah, really, like, yeah, people would kind of go out their way, go to like parties or do all this other stuff outside of school that are pretty negative. But then when it comes to just being at school, it's like it's kind of like you have no other choice but to be at that school. And it's like the one thing is everybody kind of looks the same in a sense, and everybody kind of like just knows each other. So it's like being there, it's like almost like just being around your family, really.
Yeah. It's honestly like I love being part of the like Father Lacombe, coaching staff and like part of the community there. But then also like coming from that place where the community is rough, like how did you, because you've never got in trouble. You've always stayed away from the bad things. But yet you always have had someone in your ear. You always had like a friend that's doing this or that. Like how did you navigate staying out of trouble, staying on the right path, and getting to university?
I think the biggest thing was that, like, growing up, like, I kind of seen all the bad at a young age, and like it's crazy to think like a lot of kids have like parents or people they kind of like grew up wanting to be like role models, but for me it was just more so like growing up not wanting to become that because you kind of see the end result, and like even like my
Positive
parents,
influence from a negative outcome.
yeah, exactly that, and like.
That's solid, right?
Yeah, and like even my parents, like I love them to death, and like kind of seeing them struggle, it's like I don't want to be that. Although they like their character traits, like them just being good people, I obviously want like that, but just like them having to struggle kind of every day to kind of provide for us, like that's something like I just like look at and it's like I don't want to be that, and especially like guys trying to like get me to do certain things that I shouldn't be doing. I kind of just like look at it, and I'm like no, I don't want, like I've seen the end result.
Yeah.
And I don't want that.
And I mean, you must have had kind of like the OGs or like the older generation guys saying like MT's going somewhere,
Yeah.
so we're gonna like make sure he doesn't do this.
That also played a big role. I had a lot of people in my ear. Like every time I talk to someone that kind of knows my brothers or just knows me, just being around Lacombe, they're like, yo, like don't get involved. Like if they see me out somewhere, like I won't even be doing what they're thinking I'm doing, but like I'll be out like just
Getting shawarma.
something like that, and they're just like, yeah, like you don't stay safe, like don't be outside late at night, don't do any of these things, like we don't want you to do.
Yeah, because like you almost have like a celebrity status within the Sudanese community and like the northeast, southeast part of Calgary. So like everyone knows who you are. Like you go places, people know who you are, and you might not know who they are.
Yeah.
And if you were to get in any type of situation where somebody tried to, confront you, how many people would come out of the woodworks to protect you?
Too many people. Too many. Like yeah.
Like people that you wouldn't even know their names, right?
100%. Yeah.
So I definitely like I see it as like you were almost like fostered in this, and I've talked about this with Lance before. Like, have you ever seen the Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
Like he's Ricky.
Yeah.
He's Ricky from Boys in the Hood without the end coming.
Ricky.
like that's, I've always said that. I'm like, yo, he's Ricky, but he's not gonna end up that way. Right? Like,
Yeah, I can agree with that.
yeah, and like, and so would you say that you felt like, did you feel pressure because of that? Like, oh, I have to do this or I have to do that.
Yeah, like also you just being, so like you said, you know, a lot of people know you. So like if you do end up taking that path, like a lot of people are gonna follow in your footsteps. Like you're almost like a role model for the people that are there, and
Not almost like
you are.
yeah,
You,
you
so
are.
like, you know, being in that situation and not taking the wrong turn or whatever. Like the people are watching you. People, all eyes are on you. So have you ever felt pressured to like make sure you do the right thing and like not mess up?
I think I felt like some type of pressure at an early age, because like you as a kid, because this is pretty early. I think like junior high, kids started like looking at me like, okay, like
Yeah.
that's kind of what we want to be. And growing up, I was like, wow, like I don't want kids to be thinking like kind of like in that way. Like I thought to myself like, I'm not even where I want to be yet.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would a kid want to look at me and be
Yeah.
in that? But like growing up, as I grew older, going throughout high school and stuff, I kind of like acknowledged, just accepted like kids will always look up to me, whether I like it or not, just because I make the right decisions in life, I believe. And like now, I wouldn't say it's so much as pressure, but even now, I think I still want kids to kind of like look at me and not think like I want to be that, but kind of look at me and be like, okay, he's at a pretty good place, but I could see further than that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I want to be better than that. And that's
Well, like one thing, like I've always been very proud of you for the decision that you made going to U of C, because like I can only imagine how much pressure you had to go down south.
Yeah.
Like saying like, okay, like, well, if anyone's like guys being like, well, Manyang's going to the NBA, like they would look
Yeah.
at you and they'd be like, that is, and so you going JUCO, D1, D2, like going down south, like I can only imagine how much pressure you had to do that. And then making the decision that you were going to go to UC, I thought was such a mature decision that I think that like it opened the floodgates for younger guys to be like, you know, Usport
is solid.
is a solid opportunity.
Yeah.
100%. I think kids nowadays don't realize what they have. Like they kind of think they're above everything, and I guess in a sense, like I used to think that. Like growing up, I did have a lot of pressure. People telling me like, "Oh yeah, like he's gonna go Division One." Like I think that's like probably the biggest thing that repeats in my head. Like Quan telling me like, "Yeah, he's gonna go Division One," but
He was on the news
yeah,
saying
you knew saying that. Yeah, and it's like
he did a like the, well, I don't know what it was, like Channel 7 News or whatever.
Global
News
News,
did like a thing, and they're like, yeah, like we're all behind MT because we know he's the guy that's going deep. Like he said it on the news.
Well, that like even for me, like when I like having been your teammate and your friend for a while, the first time I ever actually like, other than playing you, the first time I like saw like kind of these pressures that we're talking about is Aiden was showing me your grade 9 mixtape of you dunking or whatever, and he was like, "This is the chosen one. Like this is that guy. Like he's going D1." So like, you know, having now being at like UFC and like ending up here, like, and you probably could have gone D1. Like,
Well, yeah, like, it's not a like could you turned down D1 opportunities.
I had the opportunity to go Division One. I think the biggest thing kids don't realize, like, I could have won Division One because of my like skills and my athleticism and stuff. But I think it's more so also like kids don't realize it's more than just basketball.
Well, it's alumni. It's like it's one. We were talking to David. He just signed to Queens, and so we're like, David, Kate. Part of it was like, where do you want to live after university? It's like, I want to live in Ontario. Okay, well then go to an Ontario school and develop an Ontario network.
Yeah.
That plays a big role. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Do you want to live in Calgary when you grow up?
I think I haven't made that decision yet,
Yeah.
but that's ultimately like,
It's home.
yeah,
You're a homebody.
yeah, I really am.
Like MT's a homebody. Like MT's not a guy that's like going out every night and like, you know, like he's like you're chill. Like you're just
like just to be settled. And I think Calgary would be obviously an amazing place to live.
and I think part of that is because like, you know, like there's trauma within your family, right? Like your family dealt with trauma, and so you want stability.
Yeah,
Like you want family, you want safety, you want security, you want all those things. So like you like the idea of like, oh, I'm gonna go away and I'm gonna lose all of that. That's a lot, right? So for you to make the mature decision of like, I know who I am, I know what I want, I'm gonna go to UFC and I'm gonna get better and I'm gonna try to win a national championship with UFC.
There's a lot of different things that play a part in me going to UFC, but also like me not going to Division One. Like, I think one of the biggest things was just wanting, like I think the biggest thing that at the top of my head was wanting to play pro. Like, and I think kids don't realize how big of a pool there is Division One to try to go play pro. Like, like if your end goal is just to play Division One and be that guy, like try to go to March Madness, whatever, then yeah, like Division One's for you. But ultimately, I think playing pro, like maybe not NBA, but overseas, G League, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like Usport is a great.
Well, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars per year graduating from Usport and going to play pro in Europe. Like there's hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table every year.
Yeah.
And people like, I think like the pro leagues do respect youth sports enough as a league that like it is a great platform to go pro, you know? And so like not having going D1, you like, especially at a school like UFC with like their resources and their alumni, like it's obviously like a great choice.
Well, there's the guy this year from Carleton that entered the NBA draft.
Yeah.
So there's not like and I've said this for years. Like eventually, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Eventually, the town, because Carleton beats D1s, UFC beats D1s. Like it's not skill. It's not any of that. It's like about the program and about what's the best decision for you and all those types of things. And then the other question I've always wanted to ask you is like, how did you deal with being like the face of like programs over the years? Because like you were the face of Genesis for years.
Easily. Golden child.
Like you were the face, and then you were the face of Edge. Then and you're turning into the face of UFC. Right? Like when you go on Instagram now, like I see more Manyang.
Face Lacombe. Yeah.
Face of Lacombe. Like I see more of you than I do of kind of any other player.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is just because of my highlights. I think that's the biggest thing. Kids kind of see me like dunking and doing all this crazy stuff, I think it's good.
It's good publicity.
Yeah, that's exactly the
Like it's good for the program, right? It's exciting basketball.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is like you could have just been a dunker, right? But you've kind of like rounded out your game, and you're continually trying to like add pieces to your game. But the reason you get dunks is because you play defense.
Yeah.
And you learn that from being at Lacombe, man.
I remember, this is actually a funny story about playing you. I remember when I was coming to, so we had played Genesis like since grade 8, grade 9. So I remember coming to Lacombe, like that traditional like slap the hole. And Manyang and me, I think we're talking before I actually came there, or somebody was talking. I don't know who was talking, but I knew if Manyang picked me up, he was gonna slap the floor and try to clamp me. And I remember as soon as Manyang goes to slap the floor, I'm like, "Yoop!" Like I waited, kind of took like an ISO dribble, and Manyang's like started laughing, goes to slap the floor. I was like, "I'm gone." Like, didn't even. I was like, "I don't want that." As soon as you slap the floor, like you have to clamp me, you know. So I was like, I'm not waiting for that.
And like in high school, So you kind of like were the the face of all these programs, but in high school you had a huge like improvement year from grade 11 to grade 12.
Oh yeah.
Like a massive improvement year, right? So and it was because you decided, okay, I'm gonna do the extra things that I need to do to like be able to sustain what I'm doing. Because but prior to like grade 10, grade 11, you got injured pretty regularly.
Yeah, a lot of ankle rolls and
Yeah.
all that little stuff that everybody gets. Yeah, I got that a lot. Grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, or going into grade 12.
And because people were going at you.
Oh yeah, because I was, because just looking at me, like I was like 150, 160 soaking wet.
Yeah. And then so that grade 11 to grade 12 year, that transition, I don't know if anyone like, and to this day, I base high school athletes' work ethic off that off season.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, hey, if you are saying that you want to get after it, I gauge them on like, okay, well, I've seen Manyang get after it. I seen him follow the blueprint, and this is what he got. And I'm like, okay, I can see you kind of working hard. I can see you kind of doing this, but like you legit locked in for what? Like it was like 8 months.
Yeah, something like that. Like the moment the season ended, grade 11, I think, like grade 11, I was pretty banged up, like Achilles and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think like once the season ended, I told myself, I'm like, this is like, in my head, I was like, this is like my last year to try and like go Division I, what I was thinking at the time. So it's like, I have to work hard.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing for me was getting bigger. Like just being, I wouldn't even say getting bigger.
Developing your body.
Yeah.
Well, it was your injuries were landing. It was never jumping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I seen Manyang one time try to dunk on 2 6'10" guys when he was in grade 11.
That's when I got injured. Yeah.
And that night I had to take him to the emergency room.
Oh no.
Cause like he like
Yeah, you had the mentality.
yeah, like you're like, yo, and it wasn't
Yeah,
the
the
jumping
bounce,
and it
yeah.
wasn't like in the air. It was like after being able to absorb contact, land, things like that. That's like what I seen the biggest improvement in you was your ability to absorb contact and have body control and body awareness.
Yeah.
And that was what the weight room does.
Yeah.
That grade 12 year was crazy. I remember like I want to just clip the video of like now that we talked about like at the beginning, the video of the step through. That was that one, right?
Yeah, that like
Step
the
through,
zipper
just
dribble.
Right.
But
that was ridiculous.
okay, so that was 38 minutes into the game, and Manyang hadn't come off once.
Yeah, no subs.
Oh my goodness.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
I'm guarding Luke Baker full court.
Oh man.
And Palumi was on that team, and Julian.
And Mero, right?
Like,
Mero
all
was on that
guys-
team.
all guys
No,
played
no,
full
no.
season.
No, Moro had graduated.
Yeah,
Bro
yeah.
graduated. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But like
yeah.
that team they were very, very good.
Yeah, it was a close game too. though.
Yeah, it was like we'd be up one, they'd be up one. Like it was going back and forth the whole game. And then I remember you came down, did that like your signature high school move,
Yeah.
Still
Yeah. To this
goes
day.
to it. Yeah.
and then you dunked on 2 guys, made contact, and still continued to raise.
That was the craziest thing about that dunk. Is it literally looked like you were just like riding someone's shoulders. Like
Yeah, even to this day, I don't know how I did it, but like I
Like did you plan, or did it just happen?
It honestly, it just happened. Like I just remember there's like a missed shot. Someone rebounds the ball and Quan gets it, outlets it to me. And like I'm going full speed and I see a kid like coming at me too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, he's smaller than me, so I'm just gonna like put it over his head.
Yeah.
And like in my head, I'm like, I'm just gonna lay it up, get an and one, hopefully, because I seen someone under the rim.
took the steps.
So I'm like, all right, whatever. I put it over his head and I go up. And as like I'm going to do the layup, I feel myself like rising up even higher. So I was like, all right, put these 2 hands and
Oh
I put
my
it in. And I was like,
Yeah.
like when I landed, I was just in shock. I was
Well, like who wasn't? I remember like that the gym went silent. Like I've never seen someone dunk in a game and the gym go silent.
First, yeah.
It went silent for a minute, and then it was like, and then
yeah, kids are just running back and forth. It was,
the refs forgot how to ref.
yeah,
It was a charge. I got to admit,
yeah.
Luke Baker took a charge.
Yeah, he planned this. Yeah, But yeah, but then what was like a
Oh, I'm clipping it. I'm
Okay, so
putting it at the
Luke
end.
Baker, for one. Luke Baker took a charge, dunked on it, and it was Luke Baker. I don't remember if Palumi jumped.
no, Palumi didn't jump, but he was like
He was right there.
He was right there, and then he
And then Luke Baker had the ball, went out of bounds,
that was the violation.
passed the ball in, went inbounds, grabbed the ball, and then passed to the same guy. And that guy went out of bounds and passed it back to him.
Like it was a clear violation, but I don't think nobody.
So
cared.
everyone just forgot how to basketball.
Yeah, it was like it was madness.
You take it
What
on
happened?
it.
It was
Because I think that like obviously like everyone was in shock of what happened. Everyone was like,
Luke wanted his get back too, for sure.
and they were like embarrassed, like fired up, like and the game was so close at that time. And then we went on like a little run for the last minute and a half, and then we won by I don't know 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you go to provincials that year?
No, I've never been to provincials.
We lost to St. Mary's
First round.
first round.
When was Ainley won provincials that year, right?
They beat us. I think it was.
Yeah, we played in the Revs.
Sabri versus you
Red.
guys. I
Yeah,
remember that.
they did us dirty. Like,
Sabri
at
Lars.
first, they told us too that like whoever like before the game even started, they're like, oh, because we made this matchup happen, whoever wins this game is ranked number one in the province. I was
Yeah.
like,
Man.
it was weird. Like
That was a good team though. That was Sabri.
yeah, Sabri, Joe, Lars.
Yeah, they were good.
Brandon.
They had the kid that went like D1 for football.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, like no, they had a lineman.
Who's Ariel was on that team.
They had
too.
a
the wall.
yeah, like he
Well,
was
I
a
get
like a
it.
D lineman.
Yeah, he went to UConn.
Yeah.
Their whole team was.
They won provincials for
Australia.
football and basketball that year.
Yeah, they did.
Like, they were good.
And volleyball, like they
Yeah.
they did all sweet.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, but and then after that, so how like if you had to all the posts about that dunk, you added them all together, how many views do you think there was? Because it went like super viral.
I mean, I honestly, it had to have been
Like hundreds of thousands.
hundreds. Because
Yeah.
Bleacher Report like posted it, like Overtime Canada posted it, and the thing is, it still get posted to this day. So it's
Yeah.
like I couldn't even count, to be honest.
And then so after that dunk, what was it like that night? Like how many like did you sleep that night? How many people messaged you that night?
I didn't sleep that. I don't even know how many people messaged me. And yeah, that was a different experience. That was because like it happened. When did it happen? It happened like I think we had like a morning game or afternoon, like 2 p.m. something like that. And throughout the whole day, I just had like there'd be just like a FaceTime call or someone calling me like, "Yo, I just seen what you did." Like,
Yeah, it was crazy.
wow.
It was crazy. Yeah, but again, like the reason you were able to do that was because
I was
you put
in
the work.
gym.
Like you were a Terminator. We had at the end of every high school training program that we do, at the end we do a wall sit for as long as you can, and then like once you get to a certain time, we start adding plates. And you did a 25-minute wall sit.
with
I want to say 9 or 11 45-pound plates at the waist.
yeah.
Damn.
It was. But what I gotta give credit to, I don't even remember who it was. There was like a girl that was like,
Yeah, Ashley. She was a gen girl.
probably yes. I don't remember, but
You're
she had
just-
like
you're like, I'm not losing.
she had like 6 plates, and I was like,
She was like, I can't believe I'm doing
yeah. I think it just gets to a certain point where your mental just like
Yeah.
you just completely like go numb.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about all like your successes and like you staying out of the the bad stuff that you can very often do, and like even to this day, like like for my birthday last year, you came out like out you still experience life outside of basketball, but I think one thing I've always found like amazing is that like even if you do go out, you're still like next day in the gym. You're not like going out and blacking out and fall in love with partying, and stuff like that. Like my birthday, like 2 years ago, Manyang came out and was just there for a good time, and I was like, I know he's going to the gym tomorrow. So like,
Yeah.
would you is that like an ode to your passion, like for the sport, or is that your your focus on, you know, like going to the next level, or what is it?
I think it's just me pushing to better myself every day. Like, and the biggest, like, one thing I'd actually say is, I don't think I really started working hard up until, like, and when I say that, I mean, like, in both aspects, like the gym and like the weight room and basketball. Like, I kind of just like relied on my skill, and like I would be in the gym, but I wouldn't really be doing the right things. I'd just be in the gym.
It wasn't focused.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is, like, you guys had both of them on your podcast, Noah and Fofo.
Yeah.
Like, being at Edge and seeing them up every day at 5 or 6 a.m. just to go put up shots or get like real work in before practice.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, we'd have a practice later on in the afternoon again, and then going afterwards shooting again after practice. Like, seeing that kind of, like, in my head, I was kind of just like a little like flip switched, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, you're like, there's more I could do.
Yeah, and it got to that point where, like, now it's to a point where people look at me and it's like, there's not a gym where you won't see me at.
Yeah.
Like I guess when people get pissed because I work too hard. Like, even right now, like, I have an injury because I work too hard. Like, I don't take any breaks, and it's like, a day doesn't go by where I don't play basketball or I'm not like working hard in the weight room, or like.
Well, because you're still in the progression of you becoming a pro athlete. Like, I think you are gonna get there, and I think you're still in the progression of exercise, working out, training, and there's a difference between those three things. And a pro athlete knows how to train. Somebody that's just like, basketball is a pastime, they go and they play and they do whatever, that's exercise. Working out is when you're like, you know, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do the extras, I'm gonna like, but like that next level is like when you dial in diet, grades, weights, skill, and it's like everything's tracked, and like, okay, this off season my goal is to get better at this.
It's working smart, not hard.
And I think that's like the transition I'm kind of going into, like having this injury, and also like just seeing where I'm at right now, like slowly changing my diet and slowly like realizing like less is more. Like you see, like nowadays people, like some people go and they'll go train for 2 hours straight, and it's like, is it real work you're putting in those 2 hours, or are you just like going like 75%? Like, you'd rather go 100% for an hour than that.
Or are you there working on things that you're already good at? Right? Or like, are you there just like doing a drop step dunk for 2 hours? Like, is that helping you? Right? Like, learn counter moves, like add to. You gotta figure out, okay, where are my weaknesses? What do I need to improve? What shots do I get in a game? Okay, now I need to master that shot. And that's the stuff that's like, it's not pretty, it's not glamorous, and it's like, no one's gonna be like, why are you, like, no one's gonna like hype you up for doing that. But if you don't do it, you're not gonna progress to that next level. Right? And it's tough to stay motivated on those things. Like, me and Clayton were in here the other day, and we did 45 minutes of just one piece of footwork, shots off that one piece of footwork for 45 minutes in different situations and different angles. And like, it's good, and it's like what he needs to do to be ready to play pro.
People don't realize too, like all like the 1,000 dribbles, like trying to like do like all this like
10 crossovers.
Like all this
counter.
Like, it's good, especially like, see, you're in high school, like kids can't really like defend, or if they do, like there's no help or anything like that, so you can come down, break, whatever, and all that stuff. But once you get to university, you guys don't understand, like,
you don't get
you're lucky to get 3 dribbles. And like, if you're not going anywhere with 3 dribbles, you're out.
And the thing too that people don't realize is that, like, you need to learn all those counters, and you need to learn how to dribble. But the better you get at dribbling, the less you have to dribble. Because every little like
fake guys you react.
Every little feint, every little twitch, someone's gonna react to, and all you're trying to do is you're trying to find out when your defender shifts, changes an angle. Like that's all you're trying to read. So you can just do a hang dribble, push. And if you have a dirty right to left crossover, all you gotta do, hang, and like you've already won.
Yeah.
Right. So but it's, you know, guys want to do like hang, cross, through, tween, behind, blah blah. Snatch, inverted drag.
And like even when you are training those things, like I want to say it's like a bad thing to train those things, but it's like you're not gonna go and just do that in a game. Like kids will actually come down, everything they've like taught, like all the between, behind, they'll come down, they'll try and do it, and it's like the guy's just standing there looking at you, like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, and even so, like, you know, you could go like between your legs, hang, and a good defender is just gonna step into you, and then you're not gonna have a counter to make.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your injury. Like, I don't know if they can see it, but you got an air boot on. We talked a little bit in the car right here, but I've also, on the last podcast, we talked about with Fofo, kind of like what it felt like, you know, how it feels like having the game, you know, that you love take away from you. Like, speak on that, like touch on how that made you feel.
I think the biggest, like, I think a lot of people, when they get injured, they kind of like realize they take the game for granted. Like they don't, like they realize like, oh, I haven't been working hard enough. I should have worked harder before I got this injury. So for me, I kind of see that, but in a way I also see like, maybe this is like God time. Like I kind of need a break. Cause like my injury's only like, I'm only out
it's
for
overwork too, right?
Yeah,
it's like
yeah, like
wires, quads.
yeah, that's
like,
exactly like I'm constantly like.
Well, it's because you're so explosive.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I have like a stress fracture, and it's like they told me, they literally looked at me like, yeah, like you work too hard, like you gotta like calm down, and I'm like, all right, like they told me, like for it to heal, like they said stop playing, like for 6 weeks, and it's like right now I think I'm like 2 weeks in, and I kind of like mentally I kind of see why I needed it, like just. A break from basketball was kind of needed at times. People don't realize, like,
you need to like, you need to reignite the fire from time to time, and that's why we tell young kids that like it's good for basketball players to do other sports in high school because you actually ignite the fire instead of like kind of being like on. If you go from like club, school, club, tour, like you're almost on autopilot.
Yeah.
You don't have that fire.
Yeah. It gets way too much because like AU is like nice and all to try and like go get your offers and go and do all that stuff, but at the end of the day, like guys' bodies start to slowly break down. They don't realize it.
Yeah.
Like you hear that, like guys, I hear like other podcasts in the NBA guys are talking about like kids come in, like nowadays kids come in playing literally 12 months of basketball, and they come in like just fatigued and like their bodies breaking down, they get injured, and it's like, well, you never really took a break.
Or took care, like we were talking about this earlier, like I had an injury similar to, like kind of similar to your injury, of like just working hard, but I wasn't stretching really. Like we were talking about just like the progression of like, when you're in high school, you can get up and down and run up and down, and like I was saying, I would step into the gym and be like, I'm gonna try windmill first rep.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, I need like 10 minutes to warm up, you know? But like taking care of your body with the stretching every day, icing, rest, recover, like those things, like mobility work, like those things are things like I, to this day, like I'm trying to get better at. Like after this, I want to do some mobility stuff.
Basketball players should be in like almost like a constant state of rehab on their hamstrings and glutes. Because basketball is such a quad dominant sport and it's so forward leaning. So your quads get super developed, your calves get very developed. However, your shins, your hamstrings, and your glutes get underdeveloped. And then what happens is that because you have one area that's so strong and one area that's so weak, you even look at a basketball player. Yeah. They're flat on the back, right? You look at a football player, big hamstrings, big glutes, and they're like balanced. So basketball players, their quads are so strong that it starts to pull up, and then your patella tendon starts to stretch out. Yeah. And then there isn't that counterbalance of your hamstrings and your glutes to balance everything back out. And then you hear about like, what percentage of basketball players do you know in high school, early university that have jumper's knee?
Yeah.
What percentage would you say?
Man. Especially anyone that's athletic, like an explosive player, it's like everyone. Like,
Yeah, and in one, like, I would say almost 100% of those guys, it's because their hamstrings and their glutes are underdeveloped, and so it's not hard to balance that out. However, they spend what is the average basketball player's? You know, you're on the basketball court before your injury 6 to 7 days a week
yeah.
for at least 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
So if you're doing 2 hours a day, right? Like you're spending, 10 to 14 hours playing basketball of a quad dominant sport.
Yeah.
Like if you balance that out with 2 hours spread out over the week of stretching and hamstring development, you're that knee inflammation and that patella tendon getting stretched will balance out.
Yeah.
But you have to do it or you're going to break down.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened to me.
I don't know that.
And then it becomes so hard because the physio, once it's injured, the physio of trying to get back, you almost have to, like, in basketball, there's this fear of missing out, fear of falling behind, fear of happening all the time. I find it in the basketball culture to be crazy, where it's like, oh, if I don't have a trainer, if I'm not on the court, if I'm not doing this, if I'm not doing that, I'm gonna fall behind. Whereas guys need a break for their bodies to recover, and you actually can get further ahead. Because remember we did the strength training program where it was like we were going hard for months, and then we're like, okay, you need to take this much time off, and you came back and you had gained 7 pounds of muscle.
From just chilling.
From chilling, and it was because your body needs you're burning so many calories, you're firing so hard, your body needs that time to recover, and you actually get stronger in the time off.
Yeah, that's crazy. 7 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, it was a big change for me that year. I think I didn't look bigger, but
Definitely stronger.
I felt so much stronger.
Yeah, and your endurance was there. You were like a Terminator. And so it was the two guys that went the hardest that summer were you and Neil Phillip.
Neil.
Neil was like an animal that year.
Yeah. I remember getting into the gym with Neil and just being like, shit. You're chasing that guy's work ethic, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, he was huge, and he was, at the time he was at Mount Royal, and then I think he had some family stuff that happened, so he had done so much work to prepare for that season, then he had some family things kind of happen, and then he actually didn't even play that year. And that's what's tough about basketball, is you never know.
Yeah.
Right, you never know when injury is going to come. You never know when life circumstances are going to catch up. You never know.
Yeah. So work until something happens.
And so now looking back, what would all the things that you know now, what would you tell young Manyang, or what would you tell a young guy that you think is in a very similar situation to you? What wisdom would you bestow upon them?
I think the biggest thing is you gotta realize you could always work harder, but you also gotta realize you have to work smarter in a sense. You have to do the little things outside of basketball that people also won't see. It's like putting in work, just in the gym. You'd be out there, some guys will go work out late nights, early mornings. But you gotta realize those things are good, but you also have to do the work in the classroom. You have to do the work in the weight room. You have to.
Well, I'm not gonna say you didn't work hard in the classroom, but you were it came naturally, fairly naturally to you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People saw potential, and that's one word also. I want to tell kids nowadays, don't fall in love with that word. Potential is only potential if you don't actually work towards it.
Oh yeah, that's how you very quickly become a hometown hero.
Yeah.
Where all you do is play at the local whatever.
Yeah, live in that glory.
Yeah. Talk about how back in high school I was this and that.
Yeah.
I heard that way too many times.
And then what is your passion outside of basketball? What do you do to balance or ground yourself? Like, what do you do for that?
What's your like mental escape from basketball, from working out? Play video games?
No, not even. I give my video games away to my little siblings. I think the biggest, like, for me, it's honestly just basketball. Like I get told too many times, even by my girlfriend, like all you are is just basketball. And it's like, there would be even times where like I'm not playing, like I don't even listen to music anymore because I listen to basketball podcasts. Like that's how bad it gets. And like, I guess that you could say that's my escape.
Or hanging out with your girlfriend or friends. Yeah.
So it's just knowledge. Like you just want
I don't even hang out with friends.
Yeah.
like you just want to learn more. Like you want the game to be easier.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the biggest thing. Trying to gain as much knowledge as I can.
Okay, my last question. After basketball, can you see yourself going into modeling?
Oh, shout out.
Yeah, Juice Life. Oh, I'm not even wearing. I was gonna wear Juice Life gear,
Juice Life,
but
number one
I didn't do my
model.
laundry. Yeah, shout out to Juice Life. At Juice Life Apparel, go get your gear. I would have worn the tracksuit today, but I wore it yesterday.
Lacking.
So, yeah, my bad, Tezo. But yeah, shout out Juice Life. But
Because you're killing it in that stuff, right? Like
I've been told I could, and there's been like opportunities. Like I was supposed to do like some like small thing with like Burberry.
Oh, really? That's dope.
Like like stuff like that. But I don't know. It's something that I think hopefully I can fall back on. But
yeah.
I wouldn't call myself a model.
You guys got so uncomfortable.
I am not a model of basketball.
No, but like honestly, like I think that's something that you could probably like it's not something like after back, like it's something that you can kind of do throughout.
Yeah.
Because the guy that's doing, he's like living in Paris.
Dang. Dang, yeah.
He went to McNally.
Yeah. Dang, yeah. He went to. I've known him since I was, I think, in kindergarten.
He's modeling?
Yeah, he's modeling.
Yeah, like Gucci and like.
Are you talking about I think his name is Manny.
Yeah, Manny.
Yeah.
So Manny.
He's a big model.
Yeah, a bit like he's like doing Gucci and Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, he's literally on Louis Vuitton like IG page.
Damn, that's sick.
Yeah, from Calgary, went to McNally. He was just like a skinny, scrawny guy that didn't stand up straight, and then he started coming to the gym and working out. And I remember him saying like, one day he was like standing up straight, his chest had got broad, and we're like, man, you look like you're looking good, like you're looking happy. And he was like, man, coach, I gotta say, like, man, it used to be a grind to stand up straight.
Just like this, eh?
Well, he just had like,
There's a lot of some of these guys that look like that, like they're just like hunched over.
but he's like killing it right now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I got
Lives in Europe.
You're the next Manny after basketball.
Nah, he's big time. I don't know if I can get to that level. Yeah.
I don't know, but even like, cause like the Sudanese models are like really coming in right now. Like, right, like Naya's doing Naya Gash.
Yeah. I know a couple people that are actually doing modeling. But yeah, I mean, I guess they just love the skin complexion.
Well, like Sudanese people are beautiful. They're very like symmetrical. You know, they've like their features are powerful features. So like I see it in high fashion everywhere. So yeah, don't sleep on it, man.
It might be the next big thing.
Yeah, guy.
That's another
Tyson Beckford.
I don't know who that is.
I don't even know who that is.
That
That's a throwback.
Hey man, I mean, shout out to Tezo for opening that door for me.
So is there anything else you want to kind of finish on? Like anything else you wanted to talk about?
Oh, well, goals.
Goals.
So what are your goals in the next year, basketball and outside of basketball? Right?
Yeah.
Basketball within the next year. I mean, I think.
I'm gonna set one for you. Recover
Recover
healthy.
Yeah,
and successfully.
recovery. Yeah, because I think I should be out the boot before our training camp starts, and I mean we play like 3 good Division 1 teams, like throughout the preseason.
For that big tournament, that one in BC.
Yeah,
UCLA.
Are you guys going to Germany this year?
No, we're not. We go to Costa Rica,
Okay.
like end of July, and then like we play I think like Pepperdine and then a fair weather school, and then we come back, have a couple days of break, and then we prepare to go play UNLV
Nice.
in Vegas or in Vancouver.
Yeah, there's like a big.
Yeah,
Season
and
thing.
yeah, like I think my biggest goal for that is to just do well in that, and then I think another goal for basketball would be Canada West champion.
We don't want that one.
You don't want that.
I don't
one.
want that one.
I'm wearing my Dino shorts today.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
he's
man.
the guy.
Bell.
He didn't bring no UFL gear though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
How to
it's,
rap.
Canada West Championship. Hopefully, my goal is Defensive Player of the Year. Hopefully, some type of all-star selection, and honestly, just have a winning team.
Yeah.
Biggest thing, like just changing
Well,
the culture because it was kind of a down year last year.
No, but you guys it was a bit of a down year, but like from what I've seen in the recruiting off season, like you guys look like you guys are gonna come back pretty solid.
Yeah, we'll come back a lot stronger this year, and we'll.
And then what about off court? Like what about like
Off-court.
just life?
I mean, well, school. I think like I struggled a bit. I struggled a bit in school. I kind of slacked a bit, especially with COVID. I kind of just, like everybody else, kind of like everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. Like pushing towards doing better. Like I think this year I'm trying to get like this semester, or I guess this whole school year actually. Probably go for about like a 3.5.
Yeah.
Damn, good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be a struggle, but I think I'm able to push for that.
Good.
And then with life, I think like I'm just way too nonchalant. I think.
Yeah.
Like I'm just so like laid back, and I kind of just like let things fall into place.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing, but
No.
yeah, people and and things like there's like I kind of let people kind of like take advantage of me at times, and I kind of just like do all that. And like I think my biggest thing is to just really take control of my life, because I'm kind of just like falling back, and like I'm like, all right, I kind of put the work in, I kind of do all these little things to be a better person, but
Yeah.
I really need to push towards just becoming.
Yeah, you just want to hit another level.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's great.
I think if I was going to talk about Defensive Player of the Year quick, you should have got at least nominated this year. With the amount of steals, it was.
Honestly, I think it's
It's
I think it's like UFC, they don't count our stats properly, because I mean the thing is I watch a lot of film, and when I look at the stats,
Yeah. It don't add up.
it don't add up, but it's fine. I mean, and the thing is, I think I can be so much better defensively. Like
Yeah.
I talk with my coach all the time. Like he's constantly in my I think.
Well,
like,
you get better every year.
Yeah.
Every year you get better.
Yeah.
Who got it this year? Was it Big Man?
Defensive of the year?
Yeah.
It's Tyus.
Oh, facts.
For all of Canada.
I'm tripping. Yeah. It was
Like all of
Tyus.
Canada. And he's
Yeah.
a great defender. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not
skills.
mad that he got it.
Yeah, me
He
neither.
obviously deserves it.
Forgot about that one.
But yeah, I think that's one thing I'm gonna push for sure this year, because
Yeah.
I gotta get on a.
You gotta rep.
I gotta get a different level, guys.
Yeah, you gotta rep Lacombe.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, the moment I get it, I gotta.
If you win, this is like what I would like to see. If you win Defensive Player of the Year, when you do the photo, you gotta put L up.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I get a trophy or a plaque or anything, that's going to Couture. He definitely deserves that one.
Love it.
For sure.
All right, man. No, I appreciate you coming on. Is there anything else that you want to like close on? You want to give anybody a shout out? You want to tell your siblings to like get out of bed?
Well, yeah, that's. I want to shout out all my little siblings, because, I mean,
Yo, Yar's coming.
Yeah, it's a Tong takeover, man. That's a Tong.
I say every year at Lacombe, there's a new Tong, and I'm like, could you be the best Tong?
Ooh,
Yeah,
love that.
and that's like for us it's like a competition. I think like
Who's next? Will's
Well,
next.
would no. That's
No,
the thing.
a
Well,
Jang-
a Jang is that's the one like.
No,
it's
but
me.
I don't want to talk about a Jang right now because he's a sleeper for us. So like just
We'll
like
talk about that. But
we'll talk about a Jang next year.
But yeah, me, William, and Yara kind of like
Yeah, you guys are on your platforms now.
yeah, people like see the mixtapes and they see all the highlights and stuff and like
Man, like
Comments.
you haven't seen his little sister.
No, I coached her actually. Coached her at Kenny Camp. I think she went to Kenny's camp.
yeah,
She's in grade 10.
Yeah, she's
she was
serious.
playing point guard.
Blocking everyone.
But so I was talking to her last week, and I was like, she was talking about like wanting to go prep, and I was like, listen, like, you're not ready to go prep because you can't even play a full game because you have shin splints. Like you gotta like get. I'm like you gotta
totally get healthy.
like you gotta get healthy. You gotta be able to dominate a local game and be able to play an entire game before you start talking about prep.
I literally literally when I came in the booth, I literally walked up to her and the guy like I showed her. I'm like,
Yeah, this is the path you're on.
yeah, like you gotta like literally just take a break. She does, and that's the thing. People don't realize she's worse than me. Like mentally, she's actually like I don't think I've ever seen someone work as hard as her.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Like
basketball.
she like, actually is everything about. Like she'll like literally be at home, and like people watch TV shows and stuff. She's literally on like because nowadays like everything's filmed. Like
Yeah.
guys, everybody like there's clips of every game. She'll literally be watching people she's played against, her games. Like every time I come home, she's in her room watching games or on the main
I
TV
think
watching
she's gonna be the best Tom.
I think she is too. She has like
She's got a nice shot.
She got a handle.
She's got a handle.
She's literally 6'1", can almost dunk.
In grade 10.
In grade 10.
That's
And
crazy.
she's like, her work, I think the biggest thing that sets her apart from the rest of us is just her mindset at a young age.
Well, she's seen all of you guys.
Yeah. And
Is she the youngest? Or are there any more coming?
no, there's two
Oh my-
more that are younger. But the thing is, the thing is the other two, they kind of like, are kind of trying to figure themselves out in different ways. Like they don't, like one kind of plays basketball. She actually won a city championship or whatever this past year, and like the other one doesn't really play, but
They're young.
they're young. But Yara's on a different level. Like I think she's gonna.
I think she can go D1. I think she can go D1. I think she can play Team Canada. I think she's good.
Yeah, I've had a
But-
lot of people talk to me about her.
Not on the current trajectory she's on.
Yeah, because of her health. I think it's
Yeah.
the biggest thing. She doesn't realize how good she can be. Like that's the thing. Like what people see now is her at like probably 70%.
I was at Lacombe this year during the season after tryouts, and Jang was sitting like on like the wrestling mats, like you know how they roll them up.
Yeah, and
so he's sitting on them, and then Yara was at the far end, and Jang was with like all his boys, and I'm like, I went to him, I was like, "Are you gonna be the best Tong?" And he was like, yeah, and I was like, no. I was like, Yar. I was like, you're not even better than Yar right now. And like, she was like, yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad for her though. He's kind of like, I want to say forgotten, but that's just because he didn't have a grade 11 year to like make all those mistakes he made now. So people are kind of just like, oh well, he's maybe. I think I got to tell people I think he could be better than me and William easily.
Yeah.
Because he has the skill set, but
Yeah.
he just got to realize that himself, put in the work.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, he is. Like, he's definitely way more under the radar.
Oh yeah.
Way more under the radar, and I'm hoping to use that to our advantage.
Yeah. He's definitely gonna. I think he's definitely gonna surprise a lot of people.
Love it.
Yeah, I love that kid though.
All right, man. Sick.
I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for
Thanks for having me.
Okay, that's the episode. Thanks for watching, and remember, follow us on all our social medias for more stuff coming up.
Yeah, I'm in my own lane. 4-3 reppin', yeah, my gon' bang. It's talking, but they ain't speaking on my name. I'ma make this money, I'm about to free the gang, yeah. On my 3-0 on the back, these call me Stephen Curry. Gotta make this money, gotta make it in a hurry. Do it for the gang, so my don't have to worry, yeah.